Alright, I'm done. I tried it. I think I fixed the audio. We'll find out when I'm looking over the edited video. But yes, this time I can actually take a minute to talk about what exactly it is that happened uh for the second half of why my entire year turned into shit. Super fucking like just super badly. The mental part of why I was having so much trouble with 2025. You already know the first half. It was basically financial issues as well as just getting a job, which, like I said, in this day and age, it's like fucking impossible without having a good word be put through. As well as just fucking companies just using lazy tactics to just try and lower the amount of money that it takes to hire people. It's really difficult to get a job than what it used to be. But that's beside the point. The real thing why I'm making this video now is because I felt really bad that I didn't that the first heartfelt video that I tried to make kind of went to shit with the audio. And now I'm making this third one because I have tried. With the second video, it just felt really not heartfelt and it didn't really explain a whole lot. And I'd like for this one to explain it far better than the last one. But yes, the mental struggles that I have been going through throughout all of 2025 was, and I fucking quote, shenanigans and bullshit with friends. And like I said, I've been trying to make friends throughout the last 10 years, and I've noticed a very interesting cycle with a lot of these people that I have tried to be friends with. One of them is attention. Attention is a lot of what these people really, really like. They like it when you give them attention. They like it when you pay attention. But they certainly don't like reciprocating attention. Something that I've noticed with a lot of them is that they don't ever tend to pay attention as much as you would, or as much as I would in this case, when it came to things like matters of importance. So like if it was, say for example, they needed me to pay attention to a piece of pizza because that was the most important thing to them, then I would. I'd remember the details. I would remember why this pizza is here, whatever significance would be there for them. But then if I asked them, hey, could you pay attention to this pizza for me? I wouldn't get the same reciprocation. And it would be like that a lot for the people that I was trying to be friends with for the last 10 years, where I would say something that mattered to me, and then I would be pretty much just, they just turn around and then not give a fuck about that pizza or whatever fucking situation it was. So personally, yeah, I felt really annoyed and angry that a lot of it was not being reciprocated. So what's the second issue? Second issue, communication. A lot of these people would misconstrue or misrepresent or even just in general missay shit all the fucking time. And a lot of it was just that. People didn't care. They'd have the attention span of a fucking guppy 1 second, and then apparently they'd have the fucking brain hole to fucking remember, or they'd be a genius 1 second, and then a fucking dumbass the other. But then communication, it was like a slurry fucking mess with some of these people. I'd be very clear and thorough with some of the stuff that I felt and said. And then, sometimes, I couldn't really say anything because I needed to think about it. And that's something that I fucking don't understand or that I hate, is how people are not the same way too. They would be only clear and somewhat subtle here and there when they needed something to be done, but then other times I would hear from other people and not the source directly how it is that they feel that this situation went by. Again, I would never get direct contact the same way I would for them, so the courtesy would never be returned to me. And that is what I'm having an issue with all of these fucking years. And even now, I have the same exact problem. People don't fucking care. And I would do everything in my fucking power to be as clear as I can with them, only to be fucking told later down the road,
I don't really like what your opinion is, or I don't really like how clear you are, or I'm offended by...
Shut up. I'm so fucking sick and tired of fucking losers online fucking sitting here and acting this way, being so damn two-faced about things. When they say something, but then they never act upon it. And I just don't understand it. I don't get it. And then it fucking dawns on me. Right? It's about attention. Sometimes these people do things for attention, or alternatively, they don't fucking care because it would be too much for them. It always is about attention. It's always about communication, and it always ends up just being a matter of reciprocation. I'd sit there and I'd spend this time, and I would care about what they have to say and bring up, and I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, only to turn around and then find out later down the road that it would always end up being one of three things. The first thing is that they say something that doesn't match up at all with what they normally do. Right? So then they say something questionable. I bring it up and I say something, and they don't like that I bring it up. They're like,
don't do that. I don't really mean it.
And it's like, okay, yeah, but why did you fucking say that? Right? Which leads into the second reason. They do something questionable. Again, I just hang out with them enough until eventually I come to this fucking conclusion whenever I'm watching them fucking just be their normal selves for a change. And then, of course, it either affects me or it affects somebody else in a negative light or affects them negatively. And now I have to fucking sit here and then question that, like, do I really want to be friends with the guy at the end of the day that just literally bullied somebody for fucking no reason other than to just do it for shits and giggles and attention? No. No, I don't want to be friends with that guy. Why the fuck would I want to be friends with the fucking loser at the end of the day who can't fucking get over his own insecurities, right? So, there you have it. I'd fucking sit there and I'd question it, and then all of a sudden, it'd always end up with the last thing. Silence! No communication, nothing. All of a sudden, I'm watching these people leave left and right, not saying anything directly to me. Oh, man. I just end up fucking sitting there with my head fucking between my legs, like, why? You know? Falling myself to death over the fact that I can't retain the friends that I want to retain. And in fucking course, which in my own idiocracy, you know, fucking sitting here, this is why I call myself a fucking idiot, is because I'm over here trying to make friends with people on fucking VR of all things. On fucking VR chat, or fucking, oh man, I should just say the three websites, basically three places. I used to try and make friends on TF2, that ended up being a waste of my time. Then I fucking tried on Discord. Wouldn't you know it, these fucking people are just the same bunch of egomaniacs. And it's the same thing with VR chat, just a bunch of narcissists who just want attention. So I keep trying on all these different places, only to end up fucking frustrated and sad that I've wasted 10 years of my life trying to fucking chase after something that's impossible for me to fucking grasp. So yeah, here I am like the dumbass, and I feel disgusted and now horrible over the whole mess. Because congratulations, you've been wasting your life trying to make friends with people on the worst fucking places possible. So now you understand the other half of it. That the mentality is that I've wasted all of this time trying to chase after things that have been impossible for me as a whole, when I've been trying to hold on hope for them. So yeah. Now I'm going to get into it because, yes, this hurts me the most. Warning to everybody out there. What I'm about to say is complete and utter fucking autism. I'm going to blank out the names to the best of my ability and, you know, just rant. So, you know, feel free to just, I don't know, skip to the last end point of whatever the fuck this video is about to be. But just in general, I'm honestly sick and fucking tired mentally of all this nonsense that has been weighing on me throughout all of 2025. And I'm just so done with it all. Done with it. Right? So this is my heartfelt redo video, whatever nonsense, right? That I just want to be done with and just move on to 2026 with, you know, with a bright eye and bushy tail and just call it a fucking day and just be done with it all, right? Anyways, here's the rant. I, like my last friend groups, have been dealing with trying to make friends, right? Or not my last friend group, I should be more honest. I've been trying to make friends, and well, I thought I would try again this year to try and do it. So where do I go? VR chat. Now, I'm gonna be honest. It started off with me doing my usual shit, going on VR and, you know, talking to people, trying to have good interactions, right? Until I find somebody decent enough to spend some time with and figure out. Lo and behold, we finally encounter somebody. This person, I'm gonna call them owner number one, right? Owner number one was someone that I encountered in VR with another friend at the time. And it was just one really cool interaction that kind of was just all right, right? And, I leave, we come back maybe like a week or two later, and owner number one is starting to talk to me again and being like, hey, I think you're really cool. Could you, come join my server? And we could just chat and, talk more because I think you're cool. All right, fine. Let's go do that. So I do. I join in and, I'm just sitting here watching this shit transpire, and it's a pretty cool server. It's a pretty cool place. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, nice, all right. I don't really know these people, but, it's all right. Fast forward, because there's nothing really important that happened during this time, just the usual interactions and, me drawing and doing other nonsense as usual, until eventually I finally get into a server with these people. And obviously, I encounter them. Turns out owner number one is, I'll say, I'll say married, just pretty much might as well be, is married to owner number two. Owner number two is really chill, really cool, and I like owner number two. And I also get to meet another friend, and this friend I am going to call Chekhov's gun, essentially. But yes, owner number 1 and 2 are all right, and Chekhov's gun is also all right. We go by maybe about a week or two, and I start to notice that Chekhov's gun has got some issues. And over the time, Chekhov's gun and I have a problem with a game. Deadlock, funny enough. And I'm trying to get into Deadlock because owner number 2 and Chekhov's gun really like Deadlock to an insane degree. Cool. We get on with it, and, Chekhov's gun tells me, hey, I don't think I want to be here anymore. And leaves because of that situation. Owner number 2 is like, meh. This was kind of coming a long time. I feel kind of bad about Chekhov's gun. This was, bound to happen. Blah, 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 this, and that. This sucks. I'm like, well, what's wrong with Chekhov's gun? Well, Chekhov's gun has been a bit of an a-hole to owner number 1. Owner number 1 is like, this was already going to happen. I don't really like Chekhov's gun. What? Okay. Fine. So I talk to Chekhov's gun because I'm friends with him. Hey, Chekhov's gun, how's it going? Don't you want to talk about this and this and that? I'll try. Meh, maybe. Right? Turns out that Chekhov's gun and owner number 1 were having a weird-ass fight like a bunch of children in their statuses. Because turns out that owner number 1 is actually super aware of every tiny change that happens in the server. That includes you. So if you're ever on that server, owner number 1 is really keen and in tune to seeing everything you do. That includes every tiny little status change that you make. Now, I want you to remember this because this will be important for later. But beside the point, owner number 1 and Chekhov's gun were having a little bit of a fight/argument in their statuses, but they didn't really acknowledge or say anything to each other. Until eventually, Chekhov's gun sits there and just flat out says it straight up. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this is going to work at all. It's just not going to work. Okay, cool. So I come to the eventual conclusion, right? And it's like, oh, okay, well, that sucks that it's not going to work. And, owner number 1 and 2 finally tell me, oh, yeah, he's an asshole and, all this other BS. Oh, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. They tell a fucking myriad of stories about this guy. I think it's like maybe 1 or 2 now I'm actually thinking about it. So I'm kind of convinced this guy is, an unapologetic asshole. Congratulations, that is still true to this day. So I say, I don't know if I really want to be friends with someone who is an unapologetic asshole. It was fun knowing you, goodbye. I cut him off. That's the end of Chekhov's gun. But Chekhov's gun has a really good reason for not being friends with owner 1 and 2 that I will find out later. Doesn't matter. Moving on. we move on, we're doing our stuff until eventually I start to meet more people that were also introduced the same way I was, where they would be on VR and eventually brought into the server through those means. And at first, I didn't get to meet everybody until eventually I did. And this is where the rest of everybody starts to come into the picture. So now, owner number 1 and 2 have introduced another guy. I'm going to call him Thing 1. Because reasons. But basically, Thing 1 is really shy, but has also known owner number 1 and 2 for a while, and it's just kind of now getting started. Thing 1 and, everybody else is all having a great time. I start to get to know Thing 1 some more and more until, you guessed it, owner number 1 starts to bring in more people, right? And, yeah, guessed it, Thing 1 and I start to talk more and more about ourselves and how things are going and all this other BS. All you need to know is that during this period, this weird in-between grace period of such, owner number 1 is introducing a lot of new people here and there, kind of going about it and just adding as many, or not really adding as many, but just kind of adding people gradually. And some people stay, some people don't, but I'm also getting to learn other people as well on the server. Doesn't really matter. This is kind of a weird gray area, but eventually we get the rest of the people over time. Now, there's another guy who's also important, and he will be referred to as Thing 2. Thing 2 is really cool in my book, and I think that's the latter half. I think that's towards the latter half. And then finally, I'm going to call him Thing 3, because Thing 3 is a bit of a wild ball, but is still around. Doesn't matter. Now everything's all kind of set up. I met some older people who were also part of the server, and some newer people introduced through the same means on VR. And this was all over the period of, I want to say, when did I meet him? October? I think it was during October all the way through December. And it was okay, and it was fine, and I would draw, and things would get a little comfortable here and there, and I'd start to learn some stuff here and there. That was alright. And nothing too bad, out of the ordinary. Until one day, I'm sitting here and I'm coming back home from work, and I'm noticing that owner number 1 and 2 and a friend of theirs, a long time real life friend of theirs, is in one of their little channels. I'm like, okay, cool. I think I'm gonna join in and see what's going on. It looks like they're playing Fortnite from whatever the Discord status shows. Like, it'll show you what game you're playing. Okay, cool, we play it. Right? Or, okay, cool, they're playing it. So I come in, and I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing? And can I join? Sure. Now, I want everybody to know right now, before I even say this, Chekhov's gun has warned not only me, but has also warned other people before that owner 1 and 2 are not who they say they are, and that they are not nice people. Okay. Chekhov's gun has felt disregarded and ignored, and sometimes has felt a bit of some BS from owner 1 and 2. That's as far as I know. So I'm not hesitant of them at all, because I felt like this was just him being an a-hole. Moving on, I come in and now I'm hearing from them, hey, how's your day going? Cool, everything's alright. So I see you guys are playing Fortnite is what I say. Can I join? Everyone says, yeah, sure. And then, I think it was either owner 1 or 2, or both of them at the same time, as well as the friend, was all telling me that their longtime friend has to go to bed shortly, and that he will not have a whole lot of time to, play a game. So, honestly, you're going to need to hurry up. Or not hurry up, I guess. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. No, they didn't tell me to hurry up. They just emphasized that their friend doesn't have a whole lot of time and that he may have a game left in him before he needs to go to bed. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying, sure, I'd love to join. But did Fortnite have an update? Owner 2, I believe, or Owner 1, either one, answers and responds with, oh yeah, they did. I'm like, well then shit, I don't usually update and it might take me a bit, so let me go find out, right? I leave. Not the channel, but just, go to do that, and I find out, oh, great. Uh, this shit sucks. I have to update. So I'm sitting here and I'm messing around. Let's just say, for the sake of our own sanity, that I repeat back for about 20 minutes or so. Maybe, yeah, actually about 20 minutes. And I'm telling them, this download sucks. It's taking forever and it's fluctuating, and I don't really know when it's gonna be done. Owner 1 and 2 are like, okay, well, that's fine. We can still just wait. It'll take you a minute, but that's fine. We'll just wait. Cool. I'm still sitting here and I'm dealing with it, and then eventually I come to a call where I'm like, listen, it's gonna take me a minute, and I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'm gonna go instead. I'm gonna just go fuck off, go get myself some like food or whatever from the convenience store. You guys can just keep playing without me, and then I'll come back, right? And we'll just play then. And like, yeah, sure, perfect. So as I'm leaving and doing my stuff, I'm coming back in, here and there to listen to the call to see if anything is like happening. And this is just me kind of going back and forth while I'm getting ready, and then just like making a response once in a while to like maybe a joke or whatever nonsense is going on. And as I'm doing this, right, I catch a tad bit of a conversation happening between owners 1 and 2. And it's nothing directed at me or whatever. It's just, hey, so there's this other guy. I don't know what's going on with him. He's supposed to come in at some point. When is he going to do that? I don't know. That's just like a little conversation between the owners. That's exactly what they said. Or not exactly, but it's what they said. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. You're right. And I didn't respond. And I'm just, hanging up my headphones and just going to the convenience store. I come back about 20 minutes later. So it's about like 40 minutes now. And, coming back in, doing my shtick and whatnot, and just going over to set all my shit around until I come back and say, hey, how's everything going? Only to find out, okay, now there's a new guy. He's a guest. He's not even a part of the server at all. And it turns out that the thing that they were talking about was this guy that they were unsure about. And I just kind of sat there like, okay, who's this new guy? And what's he doing? Why is he here? And why has he got the guest thing? They answer all the questions. They say, oh yeah, this is a guy that we met 5 minutes before you. We originally had plans with him. And, well, we are not sure of keeping him around. But we thought it would be interesting to, include him in the session because they wanted to, join us on Fortnite or whatever. Oh, okay. And I didn't even bring it up because at the time I was already kind of conflicted because they didn't sound too they didn't sound too sure about this guest. So, I'm already like sitting there kind of questioning it. B, they didn't really bother telling me that there's this guy, and I thought that there was a bit of some urgency behind one of them, but apparently not, so he kind of just tossed it aside. And then, finally, D, why didn't they tell me that they had plans already? So, me being me, I just kind of sat there like, kind of calculating all of this in my head, trying to think this all over. Well, I'm still talking to them and being like, asking them these questions that I already stated before, as well as just talking to the guy and being like, hey, how's your day going? What do you like to do? Things like that. And, at the end of the day, I'm like sitting here like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to play with this guy. I thought we were playing together. What it was, what's this guy doing here? And, they eventually tell me because we met him. all this other shit. I'm like, okay. I didn't want to take away his fun or anything because, this is a guy. He's a guest. He's only going to be here for so long. I didn't feel bad already. So I just sat there and was like, let him have it, right? But at the back of my mind, I'm over here thinking to myself all the questions that I've already been thinking, and why are they doing this? Why is this happening? Blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, and so on and so forth. Now, before I even start any of this rant, before I even continue any more of the rant, I'm gonna go on ahead and say I have had conversations with certain people before in the past that have reassured me that owner 1 and 2 are very flaky. They seem to disregard a lot of people's thoughts and feelings for attention. Now, owner number 2 isn't particularly the problem. Owner number 1 is. And owner number 1 seems to be very, very flaky. They seem to be very, they seem to be very, in my opinion, narcissistic. They tend to be very much like, give me your attention, give me, all the time. And so, they are, like I said before, they seem to care a lot about people and where their attention is at. And so I leave, and owner number 1 and 2 notice that I stop talking and notice that I'm being very distant. So they try to say some stuff here and there during the call, and I'm just like, no, it's fine. I'm just, thinking about some stuff. Don't worry about it, right? And, on there, they just kind of like go back to doing their thing. And while this is all happening, I'm just kind of thinking this all over, and, I felt a bit disregarded. I felt a bit disheartened that that I wasn't considered in their plans, or that they didn't bother to tell me these things. Now, context again before I continue. I care incredibly about communication. I've lived an entire life of people never telling me things, and I've had to find out the hard way about a lot of these things. So I have a massive pet peeve about communication, and I have a massive problem when I'm being thrown into something that I'm not happy with or comfortable with. Now, this wasn't a matter of comfortability. This was a matter of no one telling me anything, and me having to find out the hard way that there were plans already in motion and in mind before I even got a chance to know whatever was going on. And it kind of hurt me a bit, because I didn't want to sit there and be disregarded like that. And that's where my brain was at the moment, was like, how do I approach this? Or how do I, what am I in the wrong for thinking the way that I do? Or am I feeling the wrong feelings for doing it? Right? That's where my brain's at. I was trying to piece this all together. I hate confrontation personally, right? And I don't want to go in on a rash mind. I don't want to start pointing fingers and being angry and being a huge butthole about things. I like thinking about stuff. It's the reason I go silent. So their shit is all over. I refuse to continue talking and engaging and just kind of let things mellow out till eventually everybody leaves. Now I'm going to emphasize real quick, because this is me. I unmuted for just a second, only for owner number 1 to immediately pop up and be like, you unmuted! What's going on? Are you okay? Yes, I am. I'm just dealing with some stuff. Don't worry about it. Just good night. Right? Because they were on their way out. Okay. Leaves. I leave. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the fuck? Alright? Fast forward. Now, this is where thing 1 and 2 comes in. Because now I'm talking to them. They've told me stuff in confidence before in the past. So I'm kind of comfortable, I'm a lot more comfortable with talking to them about said things that I would feel or hate or whatever BS, right? So I would talk to them and I'd tell them, hey, listen, so this situation happened the other day. And I tell them verbatim what happened. All right. Thing 1 and 2 immediately tell me, hey, I think you might be in the wrong. You might be blowing things out of proportion. Why don't you go talk to them instead of sitting here and talking to us about it? Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. So I stop talking to thing 1 and 2, and then I go talk to owner 1 and 2. We have a conversation. Now, owner number 2 starts this off. with saying, hey, listen, owner number one is muted at the moment and will probably not talk during this call because they're having stomach issues. But I want you to know that their stomach issues are tied to stress. And if they feel stressed, then they're going to start having stomach issues. And I don't want that to happen during this call. So I want you to be wary of that, is what owner number two is telling me. I told owner number two, I said, listen, I have a lot to say, and I tend to rant, and I tend to be very angry whenever I feel like something is wrong, right? And I don't want owner number one to have a problem with me while I'm ranting. So I think it would be best if owner number one left the call so that me and you, owner number two, can just have a conversation on our own. Owner number two stops for a second, he's like, hold on a second, comes back, and then says, owner number one is very adamant in being here and wants to hear what you have to say. So they're not going to go anywhere. I emphasize, listen, just to owner number two, and obviously owner number one is listening in on this whole thing. I tell him immediately, hey, listen, I am going to rant. I'm going to say some stuff that is probably not going to be, the best. You guys are not going to like what I have to say. And I'm going to warn you right now, if I get any of this nonsense BS from owner number one, where they are telling me to shut up, I'm stressed, don't say anything anymore, like trying to stop me from saying what I have to say and using that as a scapegoat or some way to get out of whatever I have to say, too bad. That's on them. That's not on me. And I warned them and you at the end of the day that it's not on me, that they should not be in this call and that they should just fuck off and let me and owner number two have a conversation. Cool. We have it. I start up immediately with saying I had a problem with that other day and I felt disregarded and disheartened by the entire experience. And, that kind of hurt me at the end of the day. I would like, I'd like an apology at least. So owner number two is like, okay, well, we don't like that you didn't communicate with us this any faster. And you should have said something before. I said, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry I didn't communicate this any faster or any shorter. And I'm very sorry. Now, before owner number two could even apologize for any of the things that I said, where he's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry that we made you feel... Before he even got to finish it, it was almost instantaneously owner number one pipes up with saying, no, I don't feel that at all. It was only 5 minutes. You're overblowing this. I piped off immediately with, listen, if thunder and lightning is happening outside and I come in and ask you what is going on outside and you don't say anything to me that I have to go and find out for myself, whose fault is it for not saying something when it's being asked of you, right? Asked to you. It'd be yours. And it kind of goes a bit back and forth with them continuously saying the same thing. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. It's you. Blah, blah, blah. This, that. And I'm trying to repeat to them time and time again. It technically is because you're the one who knew ahead of time. You're the one who's making plans. And I'm coming in like a third-party asshole who doesn't know a damn fucking thing that's happening. Until eventually, almost, and I'm not kidding, it's like just almost like, I think it was like a minute or so in, immediately they pipe up with, oh no, my stomach is having issues. We have to stop this conversation. We have to stop this conversation. Trying to cut me off and trying to stop this conversation from continuing. And like I said, in my opinion, trying to avoid responsibility. I literally sat there and I got angry and I said, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? I said, you should not be here. What are you doing? This isn't my fault. This is on you, right? And they are piping up immediately by backfiring like, I don't get it. What do you want us to do, huh? You want us to apologize? I'm like, yes, fucking of course. Because that's what you do. You just say, fucking, I'm sorry for not saying anything. Done. Easy. Hold responsibility. You had plans. You didn't tell me these plans. I wanted to play with the guys that I thought I was going to play with. You emphasized and told me that there are certain members in here that are literally on their last couple of games, and that you would wait for me to play with everybody. You brought in someone else that I had no idea. So for me, I'm the third party. I'm the guy who came in when something else was happening and you didn't tell me. So yes, I feel disregarded. I feel hurt because you didn't bother to tell me. And I came in at a period of time that happened. Now, the only problem with all of this on my end, which I agree to in saying, is that they did try to remedy this issue with that in mind. They did try to offer their positions during the whole fiasco. Yeah, and I would agree. That is a good remedy. Problem is, I'm not mad at the remedy. I'm mad at their communication. And that's what I tried to emphasize with them. I'm mad that they didn't tell me or talk to me about their original plans. I'm mad that they didn't bother to talk to me. And that's what I tried to emphasize with them. And like I said, I felt disregarded that they didn't bother. That's where my contention was at with them. So, they're like, okay, are we done here? Yes, we're done. You said you're sorry. We're moving on. So, we move on. I tell Thing 1 and Thing 2, after it's all said and done, what Owner 1 and 2 had said during the entire conversation. Again, Thing 1 and Thing 2 are over here like, I think you're blowing it out of proportion. I don't think you're thinking straight. I think you are causing unnecessary problems. And I'm over here like, okay. But it's not my fault that they planned that shit ahead. Why are they doing this? And so, I feel kind of, abandoned a bit by all of it because no one is understanding from my perspective that I'm trying to tell them about. And I just feel kind of like, left. So like I said, I left for a minute. But I come back here and there to have some conversations with other people because I feel like I need to, say this with some people. I do. Now, in comes, and I'm going to call them, in this case, I'm going to call them Angel, in this case. Angel comes in and says exactly everything that has been going on for years in their server. That I'm not the only one that feels this way and has had issues with them before. Angel informs me of not only the past person, which was Chekhov's gun, but other people too, who have had issues with Owner 1 and 2. I ask around some more. And then I find out, which again, I don't know if they're still in the server, and I'm not going to bother saying their name or telling their stories because I feel like at this point, they're going to watch this video and then they're going to probably go after those people. And I would prefer them not to. But I find out from some other notable information, from other notable informants about Owner 1 and 2. And some stories that are not so good and make me feel actually incredibly uncomfortable. And even now, I feel uncomfortable because I have seen some stuff that they have done that has made me feel like this way. Notably, I'm going to not say the person directly like I said, but we will call this other person, we will call them Kneecap. Because that's all I can think of at the moment. Kneecap was another person who has had issues with Owner number 1 and doesn't really hang around them anymore and kind of hangs out in their own server. Apparently, Owner number 1 has an alt account that is connected to Kneecap's server. Now, I don't know how deep they are in Kneecap's server, but Owner number 1 starts making fun of Kneecap and, in my opinion, kink shames Kneecap for having very interesting interests. Now that's rich coming from owner number one, because owner number one has a unusual fascination with something. I'm not going to say what, but something. They have a very unusual interest, in my own opinion, and have done questionable things on their own that wouldn't be considered okay in normal society. So I find it interesting. And they did all of this under the guise of attention. Again, a very stable point with owner number one. Moving on. I'm starting to notice all the little things that owner number one has done over the period of time that I've known them, and I feel incredibly uncomfortable by them through their actions. Not them personally, may I add, not them personally. Because they're nice people at the end of the day. It's just their actions make me feel uncomfortable. And so, here comes along my birthday, right? I'm talking to Thing 1 and 2 in confidence and trying to tell them about me coming across some information, me feeling uncomfortable, and just me not wanting to be in owner number 1 and 2's server. And that I just want to be in mine, and I want them to join me and not forget me and whatnot. During this entire time, Thing 1 and 2 tell me in extensive amounts, they tell me, not even extensive amounts, they only really respond with like maybe one or two things. I believe it was Thing 1 tells me like 3 things total, and Thing 2 only tells me 2 things. Which, of course, one of those 2 things is, I think you're overblowing it. I think you're thinking too much about it. And, of course, the second thing being questions for me about why I feel this way. Or not even why, more like questions. It's actually, I guess why. And I remember one of them being, why do you have expectations for your friends? You want to know why I have expectations for my friends? Because it's the golden rule. You treat them the way you'd like to be treated. And it feels very strange coming from you of all people, Thing number 1. Especially since you've told me things of confidence that you're not okay with and have had objections before. To feel this way and asking me this question specifically feels incredibly hypocritical on your end, or feels like it is a 180. So I remember this question because it hurt me at the end of the day hearing you say that, especially since, why wouldn't you want to have expectations for your friends? You want them to respect you the same way, right? And the second one being, hey, I noticed you changed your name to a number and you changed your status to entertainment. Why? I tell them the simplest answer I can think of. Because it's for me, and that's it. Oh, that's good to hear, says Thing number 2. Because I think that's a low blow. Low blow, huh? Thing number 2? I'm going to give you a quick little spoiler real quick. It's kind of rich, especially since Thing number 2 was the one to suggest that I talk to owner number 1 and 2, because, and I'm not kidding, after this conversation was over, they didn't say anything to me about how Thing number 1 has a problem with what I said on that day. Now, if anybody remembers the video before this, I do say that I get kind of reflective during my birthday because, hey, I am growing older and I'm not getting any younger, and I would like to keep the friends that I keep and not die alone. That I have problems of my own, and that I have to deal with these problems appropriately. So thinking about my life kind of helps me put into perspective where I'm at. And it kind of hurts to have to sit here and see that Thing number 1 is an understanding. And that Thing number 2 is avoiding. And I'm realizing this during this entire conversation, that they're not really talking a whole lot. That they're not trying to understand where I'm coming from. And it's clear as day that they didn't, because later down the road, you'll find out that they just kind of didn't really, talk to me. But yeah, I realize this, and I'm saying, okay, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't have brought this up during this time. I'm just gonna go. Goodbye. I leave. and now I'm thinking about this whole thing. We have a birthday fucking VR thing for me, and I'm kind of still sitting there thinking about all of this and watching all of this transpire, and I think I still have the video, so I could probably go on ahead and take a look for myself again, but I think thing number one wasn't very talkative during the whole experience and actually left at some point kind of early. And thing number two is kind of the same way. They're still talking, but it's not anything directly at me, and it seems to be very avoidant behavior. I think. I'd have to look again. I'm not too sure of it, but regardless, I noticed some things are a bit off, right? I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe some stuff is happening. Who cares, right? We fast forward to about 9 days later. Now, little context. A, during this time, I'm making videos. So there's that. B, I'm also noticing no one's really talking to me. And C, I made it a bit of a back onto that last conversation between thing one and thing two and me. I made it clear that the only reason I have these issues is because I want them to come and join me and talk to me. Now, thing number two reassured me, and I'm going to say flatly, because this obviously didn't hold up any fucking candle or water, that they will not forget me, they'll talk to me still and do whatever. Now, I want you to know this right now. Thing number two definitely knows what's happening with thing number one, and this is because their actions reflect this, and eventually thing number three tells me this. But yes, thing number two is not talking to me, not saying anything for those whole 9 days. Thing one is obviously not talking to me or saying anything to me, and is just not doing anything. While I'm here in my server making videos and stuff, I'm noticing two things. Thing number one is sitting there and still doing their shit, but not talking to me. They'll occasionally come on. I think it was like maybe twice during the whole 9 days, and mostly just messing around in Steam, but still not saying anything. Thing number two, on the other hand, is very active. They are moving in and out between the server, VR chat, and pretty much playing whatever games that they'd be playing at the time. And I'm noticing all of this, and I'm like, okay, I don't understand why no one's really saying anything. It's been 9 days. I haven't gotten a hello or anything back, so why don't I go ahead and text them? So I do. I say, hey, how's everything going? To both of them. For thing number two, it was an easy response. They're like, yes, I was very busy, doing whatever, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Thing number one, on the other hand, I get a message from the bot that Discord has, Clyde, and it tells me, hey, this person isn't accepting your messages at the moment. It is either because you are no longer in the server, they're no longer in the server, or you are no longer friends. Have fun with this information. I take a look. They're still in the server. They're not my friend. Oh! 9 days go by and yet nothing? I thought we were good. What the hell's going on? So I text them. I show them the picture. I say, are we not friends anymore? Thing number one proceeds to give me a scathing rant about how they feel. Everything that I just said. They didn't agree. They were going through some problems of their own, and apparently had a panic attack as a result of it, and just never bothered to say anything, and just feels uncomfortable with my presence as a whole, and doesn't really want to talk to me anymore. So I tell him, okay, you're right. I didn't intend for you to feel stressed, and yeah, I guess we should take some time. Goodbye. And after that, I just stopped talking to them as a whole. I talked to Angel here and there during this entire process and said some stuff, and they told me what they could. And during that period of time, after we had finished owner number, which I should also emphasize real quick because this kind of bypassed me during this whole process. The only reason I asked how is everybody doing was because owner's number one's birthday was just starting to happen, and I didn't want things to feel weird or uncomfortable since no one was talking to me. So I talked to thing one and thing two to get an idea of what's happening before I, do any birthday based BS with owner number one. And like I said, a whole lot of nothing really happened. So, like, I'm sitting here and a day goes by and I'm wondering to myself, I have so many fucking questions and I'm trying to process all of this. And then it dawns on me. They spent 9 days not telling me anything and saying anything because they don't like me. Not just not like me, there's something inherently wrong, or that they believe in something that isn't true, or something. Right, I'm having all these questions to myself and I'm just trying to come up with an idea and understand where they're coming from, but no answers are being given to me. No conversation is happening. And I just break down. When after I'm after work and just like talking to myself, trying to figure this all out, it finally dawns on me. I'm like, it's been how many years and I can't even keep those guys as my friends. I can't even, like, all of these people don't have my best interests in mind. No one cares. Except for, you guessed it, Angel. And I'm talking to Angel over the whole mess, and I'm like, I am so done. I've spent a fucking decade of my life wondering why I can't keep my friends. Now, I'm not going to, I kind of neglected this part of it, but I do still have friends. Problem is, they're adults. And they have lives of their own. And I'm incredibly envious of them, because I would like to have what they have. I'd like to have love. I'd like to be so busy I don't have to be online to make friends. I would like to have responsibilities that aren't this. And because of all of these thoughts and feelings building up over all this time and this year, I just broke it. I just broke down. I couldn't take it anymore. I thought a lot about all of this, and I'm not gonna lie. It's been one hell of a fucking year as a result of it. I'm so tired and done with all of this fucking nonsense. This lack of communication, the people being the way that they are without any real reason or communication, just doing all of these things. And it hurt me at the end of the day. Thing one has told me stuff in confidence about people in their past and the way that those people have treated him. And to feel and get the same treatment from thing one hurt me a lot, because I thought we were better than that. But apparently not. And then I find it rich that thing two, someone who literally sat there and pointed out that I should go do these things, or that it's a low blow, to turn around and do the same thing out of petty, or out of pity, or not petty, out of pettiness. Only to find out from thing three that they knew all along was even worse. That they couldn't even hold a candle to their own words and be a bigger man and react the way that they did for the reasons that they did was just so ridiculous. And then it hurts even more that I don't even feel comfortable being in a server with people that I've tried to be friends with for fucking months. So yeah, I broke down. I was so angry and sad because I couldn't just make friends online. And that the people that I tried to be friends with just don't care. I spent all this time and effort, and I just felt like I was betrayed by everybody there. That it hurt. And I broke down for it. I ended up just several days depressed. I even wrote it down on YouTube and in my Discord that I'm sorry, something has cropped up. I'll explain later. I tried to before. Obviously, my audio sucked. Now it's better. And here I am. And I'm so glad I met Angel in this case, because not only did Angel give me the truth, they told me what they felt honestly, and they told me what had happened, and showed me some people that are a lot nicer. I found out from a lot of the people that they are very not the people that I'm currently with, but the people that I knew before, they're not they don't really like to regard, or they just they don't seem like people who have my best interests in mind. And so, or my friendship in mind, or just me as a friend. I just came to realize that a lot of my effort was wasted, and I'm just really sad and hurt by a lot of the experience. And I'm just done with trying to make friends on VR. And this is gonna go on ahead and wax fucking what is it? Wax what is it called when you wax realization or whatever? I don't know what it's fucking called. Scratch the surface. There's a fucking word for it. I don't know what the fuck, but basically, yeah. I am just I should have known that making friends on a fucking stupid place like VR chat was just a bad idea from the start. People aren't going to be genuine or honest, and people don't care. They have the attention span of a guppy, and they just want you to keep feeding that attention. They want you to keep feeding that beast. And that's something I realized with all of these people that I've tried to make friends with for the last 10 years, that they all have the exact same wants and needs to just feel that same intensive feeling. And they're willing to do anything for it. They treat you like a fucking can of soda, drink you up, and just toss you away. And that's something that I got so fucking fed up with, and I'm just so done now. That's why I don't want to make friends online anymore or try with this shit, because I just see all of this nonsense happening, and it's hard to find people who are real in today's day and age. It makes me so sad that I feel like this, or just myself, and just in general, if anybody else has been going through something similar. I really do wish for those people. I really do hope that you find someone out there and to keep trying. Because I want to keep trying. I want to keep pushing it. But it's just so hard because people are so fake and horrible. And it's all for the same thing. This narcissistic want to just feel this attention. And now that I'm here, I can finally just end it off with saying this. I know why owner number 1 did what they did. And I feel bad for owner number 2. I don't understand why thing 1 and 2 would do what they did. But I know that it was petty, and they shouldn't have done it. And if they were going to, they should have just talked to me sooner, instead of making me wait around for 9 whole ass days to finally figure this out. So just, Christ. For you, personally, owner number 1, I don't know what you're going to achieve trying to chase after attention as much as you are, but you're not going to get what you want immediately. Like, what am I saying here? You're not going to get what you want forever. And I think you know that at the end of the day. But first, let me give you a little reality check. Because there's still one last little part. I know about owner number 1's alt account. Hence the reason I feel like I gotta say this personally. But you joining in on my server conveniently on the day that I leave doesn't really make you some random online. I know your account because you showed it to me in confidence. I know about your status. I know about all this BS. I also know how aware you are of everything that happens. A lot of people have told me about you. Hence the reason I'm uncomfortable by you. Now, I'm not scared of you. But your actions is what I'm mostly uncomfortable by. And that's the only reason. And I know at some point you're going to come back and see this. And I don't care. There's your answer. There's your attention. There's what you wanted. Now, whatever happens next, I could care less. But I'm certainly tired of being friends Because it's clear as day, I don't think you have my best interests in mind, and I certainly don't think you want to be my friend. I think you want my attention, and I think you want my art. And these are just my thoughts. I try to be honest with everybody, and that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm disgusted by thing 1 and 2. I thought I could, trust you with the things that I feel, and I thought I could trust you to say what you had on your mind. But boy, was I wrong. Because, A, thing 2, you're just a hypocrite. And thing 1, what happened? I thought we'd be comfortable enough to have these conversations at this point. You've told me things in confidence that you would not tell anybody else. So it's strange to see you act this way. And it hurts me the most that you would treat me like such. I have nothing to say for owner number 2. I just feel bad for your situation. I know some stuff about you that I kind of wish I didn't know now. But, I mean, if that's what makes you, feel happy at the end of the day, so be it. I'm not going to question. But I'm done. I don't know if I'm ever going to, keep them. I hope the best for them. I really hope that they learn from this and grow better as people. I don't know if they ever will. And to be honest, I don't think I want to know. But yeah, that's the situation. That's what I had to go through. I'm sorry it took me forever to say something. I just been kind of struggling with how to say it, and then of course the microphone being complete dog ass hasn't helped either. So, but yeah. No, that's actually just it. Thanks again. See ya.